Welcome to Rome. This is The Bittersweet Life with Katy and Tiffany Parks. Hello, this is The Bittersweet Life. I'm Katy. Tiffany is away this week, but I am joined by Felix Lee Lerma. He's a direct voice psychic medium, and he joined us years ago prior to the COVID pandemic when I met him at his home, and he gave us a live reading on the show to one of our guests, or one of our listeners rather, named Lynn, who had a lot of questions back then about her life and her future. If you missed that episode, we did recently replay it on one of our Bittersweet Past episodes under the title, When in Doubt, Ask a Psychic Medium, and I encourage you to seek that out if you haven't heard it yet. And I enjoyed listening back to that episode so much that I decided to invite Felix back onto the show to talk about something else entirely. So here we are. Felix, thanks for coming back on.
Well, thanks for having me. Actually, I just re-listened to it this morning.
Oh, you did?
That was so long ago. I have to figure out, what did I talk about? I don't want to repeat myself and be boring, but a lot has happened since we've last spoken.
Yes.
I mean, a lot.
It's been quite a while. And of course, I mean, even at the minimum, I was living in San Francisco at the time, and now I'm in Seattle, and you and I have to talk to each other remotely rather than in person. But what can you do? Well, before we get into all of it, for people who don't know, what is a direct voice psychic medium? What does that even mean?
So, yeah, I know, right? What does direct voice mean? So my mentor, when he was here, Hans Christian King, was called a direct voice psychic medium. I knew I was a psychic medium, and I know that about myself, but I never called myself this until about 4 years ago, about 3 years ago, actually. I was in a reading, and I had a woman in front of me I've never met before. I'm sitting there with her, just like tuning in like I normally do, when all of a sudden I see my mentor pop in. My mentor Hans pop into my seat where I have a seat, a special seat. Actually, it's this seat where I look to when a spirit appears to me. It's in my mind's eye mostly. Sometimes it physically happens, but in my mind's eye, I have this chair, and so I always see who's coming or who's here. So he popped in. I'm like, Hans, what do you? And I said it out loud. She says, "Excuse me, did you say Hans?" And I said, "Oh yeah, I'm sorry. She says, "Hans is my father, Felix. That's why I'm here." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. So hold on a second. So I have Hans, your dad, but then I saw my mentor. And he said to me in my mind very clearly, Felix, as of today, you are to call yourself a direct voice medium." And I looked at him and I said, "Okay, thank you, Hans." Thinking you could have given me this message before or after, but it had to be in that moment because her father's name was Hans. So it got me to say her dad's name. So long story short, I put that in front. And since I've used those words, direct voice, it's become more direct. It means I hear it very directly. It's like in my mind, in my head, very clear.
Okay.
And so it's, depends on my clarity on how much work I've done to prepare for the day or how I'm feeling or how much I've slept. Depends. That depends on the clarity. But no, it's direct and it comes very like boom.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I said, okay.
That was another one of the questions I had for you is what kind of control you have over that. Because you and I were texting prior to this recording, and, you've had kind of a harrowing day, So like on a harrowing day, I mean, I know on a harrowing day when I'm running this way and that way, I can miss 1,000 cues about normal stuff,
So
What's
this
like
is, I've worked the last 6 days. I've been really busy. I've been doing a lot of traveling the last few days. So this would be my 7th day if I were working, but I have today and tomorrow off. And so when I'm off, it's very clear to the spirit world that I'm like
You're
off.
done. Yeah.
But there's a caveat to this. There are times where it will just spontaneously open up and boom, and the message comes through. But it's not as common, especially now that I've been doing this for 27 years now. I've learned to turn it off. And people say, "Do you see things all the time, everywhere, around everyone?" Absolutely not. I think I would be dead if I did that. And you can ask other mediums about that. But no, I definitely pray and I open, and it's a very deliberate thing that I open to the spirit.
I do have to ask you. So the last time we chatted was prior to the COVID pandemic. And after we re-aired that episode, I heard from some listeners who were really interested to be like, okay, this episode happened. You're talking to Lynn just prior to that happened. It's not like within a month, but it's, it's right before it. And so they were really interested, like, is he going to somehow indicate that the pandemic is going to happen? And when
Mhm.
we listen back, you really don't necessarily hear you indicating that specifically. But
That's more prophecy,
right,
right?
right. I think that's their larger question is, can you predict the future?
Okay, so around October of 2019, I was seeing people with masks, but the mask that I was seeing was the gas masks. I didn't have really a reference for a hospital mask. I knew what it was, but it wasn't the only thing a mask to me would be is like this thing that filters out, chemicals. So I remember I woke up and I said to my partner at the time, I said, something really big is coming and it feels really bad. And he looked at me like, I've known you for 12 years, Felix, and you always see the glass as half full. What is going on? I said, I don't know. I just feel this sadness. I feel a heaviness, and I feel like there's going to be a chemical warfare. I said that, and you can even ask him. My partner at the time, Josh. He's very skeptical of all these things. He's very scientific. He didn't believe when I first met him, and then he would watch me work, and of course, having his own experiences with me. But no, it's like that happened. I really did feel it, and I didn't know what it was I was seeing until it actually happened. And
Mm.
so, get this: a lot of people have written me and like told my assistant and told us that I had predicted between February and August of 2020, you're going to take a little break. And people are like, Felix, I hope not. Like, I just opened a business. I have a beverage distribution warehouse. And I said, I don't know. I'm just feeling like you're gonna be working a little differently between March and like July. And I said this apparently in different ways to different people, probably about a dozen or so people. Now, I don't keep track of what I say because it doesn't come from me. So it's coming from them. So I am completely oblivious to what's happening and why. I
Mm.
just see it. So apparently I told a lot of people that they were going to take a break and that they were going to move and that their mother was going to move in. They're like, no, I don't think so. I love my mother-in-law, but she's not moving into our house. And I would say these things and then they would write me these letters. So yeah,
Hmm.
that happened. Did I personally know? No, I didn't.
Yeah.
But what it did do is it made me busier.
Oh, really?
And it actually forced me to do readings on Zoom, like what we're doing here.
Mm.
When before I was only accustomed to do readings on the phone and in person. My assistant was like, people really want to see you, but they don't want to come to your apartment. I said, I understand that.
Hmm.
I said, we can just do a phone. He said, no, we're just Zoom. There's this new thing called Zoom. And I was like, I don't think it's gonna work. And I was so against it. And my assistant kept saying, come on, you can do this. And finally I gave in and I did it and it worked.
Hmm.
And it was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a lot, I know.
No, it's not. I mean, there's just so many. So we can get to our bigger topic because I want to
Yeah.
ask you, like, if your entire job, let's say, is to be a conduit for other things, and then you go
Right.
about your day. What do you think is coming from you specifically?
So I see it as love because it is divine guidance from a place that loves us. And so, first and foremost, when I connect with someone, I connect with the person that they are, the spirit that is them, right? I say this, we are all spirits having a physical experience. So, we are a spirit connecting with other spirits. And so, we have the ability to connect to that with which we are. And so, looking at it from that point of view, people tend to like, oh, okay, that makes sense. They say, you've had intuition, you've had thoughts that came to you and then it happened. You've had visions, whether you call them that or not. Everybody has it. And so what I've done is taken it, studied, and have used it to help others. So it's not just for myself. I dreamt about 9/11 4 hours before it unfolded. I was in New York. I worked at ABC 7 Eyewitness News on 9/11. I dreamt about it. All these people falling from the sky. And I thought, this was awful. And it was such a scary feeling, but usually it takes me a few seconds to shake a dream off, but this I couldn't shake off for quite a while, for quite like a few hours. So then it unfolded. And then of course, oh, that's a whole other story.
Yeah.
But yeah, it comes to me with love. It comes to me with this wisdom that I can't describe. It's not coming from me, it's coming to me. If you can imagine people thinking at you, That's how it feels. It's like, imagine people are sending these thoughts that are not mine, that I don't know, and facts and bits and pieces of things that have nothing to do with me. So I've learned to sort of read that and be open to everything that I see, hear, and feel. When I'm doing
Mm-hmm.
a reading, spirit uses my body and all my senses. I call them the parasenses. My visual, clairvoyance, clairaudience, my hearing, clairsentience, which is my feeling from the gut. And so I use all these clairs, I call them the five clairs, to read, basically.
Yeah. So what do you say to people, maybe your partner or your former partner,
Uh-huh.
or to people who just they don't believe in spirits, they don't believe in an
Yeah.
afterlife,
Oh, yeah.
they believe that this is what it is, and
Right.
the job is to
So
do whatever this is well, and then
absolutely. So I've read for a lot of people who used to feel this way until someone passes or until they have a big loss in their life. They question themselves, where did my mom go? Where did my son go? Where did my daughter? When before it was never a thing. They went to church, maybe, or maybe they didn't even believe in God. Maybe they were atheist or agnostic. So the thing is that people come to me when they really need to know. And so I tell people, people say, Felix, I don't believe in God. And they say, that's fine. This has really nothing to do with God. This has to do with love. And as I have discovered in my 27 years as a medium, I believe God is love. And so the word God, people have a lot of hangups on that word. It's a semantic thing. But what I have discovered is that when people say, I don't believe in God, and I say to them, do you believe in yourself? No one thus far has said no. And so therein lies your spirit in yourself. And so that's all that's necessary. You don't have to believe in any of this.
mm-hmm.
But if you were to believe, or at least open to it, then you could benefit from the goodness and the love that the spirit has for all of us. We can benefit from their love and guidance. And people will understand that, especially those who've been through so much when times they thought they weren't going to get through and they felt a serendipitous thing happened, or a dream of a loved one that came to visit them and gave them advice and helped them. So, yeah, I tell people, I don't necessarily tell people they have to believe. And if they don't believe, that's okay. Whether
Mm-hmm.
you believe or not doesn't really matter. It can improve your life if you open to energy, if you open to the idea that we are all energy and that thoughts are real and that there's a place where we go when we leave this world, right? I always sort of equate it to like what happens to the electricity in our heart that the sinus node produces, right? There's a electricity that makes the heart beat. Where does that go? Because if you believe in science, science states can't destroy or create energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can't create or destroy energy. So where does that energy go? That's one way I like to put it. But no, it's not necessary for anyone to believe.
And yet you would think that if they're seeking you out, if they don't, they at least want to.
Right. Well, yeah, absolutely. And they will often say, well, if he says this or says that, then I'll believe. Which,
Yeah, if you get
it's
it dead
okay.
on, if you get the exact facts right.
Right. And
Right.
sometimes I do. And people fall on the floor, they cry, and sometimes I don't get exactly what they want to hear. And that's part of the trust me, I feel the same way about it too. So no, it's pretty powerful when you get to see it in action.
Yeah,
And that is why I keep doing it.
I was gonna ask, like, how do you feel when somebody falls on the floor in front of you?
I know that I'm doing my job.
All right, fair enough. Well, let's get to our main topic of the day, which those of you listening, it's no secret if you've listened to the show for the long time that I am a skeptic of the idea of manifestation. Tiffany, who unfortunately couldn't join us tonight because she really wanted to,
Yeah.
is a big fan of the idea of manifestation, I would say.
Right. Right.
And if you've never heard of manifestation, it's kind of like I looked up how it's often defined on the wellness blogs, and they basically say that it's manifestation is described as turning your thoughts, beliefs, or intentions into a reality. Or to put it
Right.
another way, if you pay attention to the right things, the things that you want from life will come to you, basically, is the
So
concept of it.
when you sent me the email asking if I would be on your show again, you were putting out a thought to the universe that you wanted to manifest what we're doing here. So you manifest every single day without knowing it. Manifestation is not a spiritual word, a spiritual, like, fun. It's reality. It's what we do. everything you see around you has been a thought at one point and has turned from a thought form into a physical form. That is manifestation.
Well,
So to say you don't believe in manifestation makes me wonder, okay, maybe she
well,
has a different idea of what manifestation is.
yeah, maybe that's true. Although I would say like that's issuing an invitation that maybe you want to come join me again. It can be a semantic argument. But
It absolutely
I
is.
guess what I think of manifestation is sort of like the willing, like I just sit here and will or
So
whatever.
there's a law to this. There's certain rules, but the manifestation idea is that if you want something, if you would like to experience something and you put it out to the universe, okay, I would like to visualize this. Okay. Most people are good at that. So asking and receiving.
Hmm.
We do it every day. Every day when you woke up this morning, you asked, you received, you asked, you received, you asked, you received. Whether you call it that or not, you can call it whatever you want, but you did it.
Okay.
And so you visualize yourself walking into the shower or the bath and you did it, right? So you
True.
collected your thoughts and then you manifested it. So the same thing is, so I truly, and I have personal experience every day with it. And because Spirit has taught me that manifestation is putting your intention out there and then feeling good about it and letting it go. For instance, to give you an example, I 4 years ago was driving through Hollywood and Beverly Hills, and I thought it would be so fun to like do a reading in one of these $30 million mansions for someone and
Hmm.
like all her friends, or just kind of put that out there because at that point I had some Hollywood people, but not A-list celebrities. I thought it would be kind of fun to kind of get into that world a little bit, and you know, so I put that out there and I visualized me driving up to this house with the gates opening, and I thought, okay, that's fun, that's cool, whatever. I didn't think it must happen. I want it to happen, or I'm willing it to happen. I just thought it would be so nice and cool if that could happen, right? So, fast forward, what, a year later, it happened.
But
I
did
don't
it
know
ha-
how.
you don't know how. So you didn't like
Oh no,
there was nothing no action you took that made it happen.
I said yes to a couple invitations that I otherwise wouldn't have.
Okay.
That led me to the person that led me to the person to drive up to that person's home, and that person's home was Paris Hilton.
Mhm.
And so it was happening. I thought, I visualized this. This is really cool. And a voice said, yes, Felix, you do this. You did this. And we would like for you to share this story because we want people to know that they can do it too. But it's not always about things or money or, it's also about situations. It's also about manifesting answers to your questions and understanding why something has happened. So it's like basically asking it is given to me.
Mhm.
That's what it is, asking. But most people ask for it, but then they say, oh, but it's so hard. And what are the chances of me? And so the gap between their asking and receiving gets bigger and bigger and wider because they don't feel it's possible. And so then they say, see, I asked and it didn't come. And the universe says that's absolutely true. So that has been my experience. And of course, this is not about getting everything you want. This is about creativity, creating. That's what I really believe we're all here to do. We're here to create a life and to find purpose.
See, I maybe it's just maybe we're very close but like slightly different because I obviously I've done lots of amazing things in my life and I've gotten to do a lot
Yeah.
of really cool stuff. But I would say that as everyone listening knows, I finished writing a book finally. But it couldn't be just like,
Congratulations.
thank you. It couldn't just be like, oh man, I really want to write a book. It was like, oh my gosh, you have to like take daily steps. It's not like it just occurs.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely. I
and
agree with you.
yeah, or I mean, even in like I don't know,
You
accidental
took
things.
you took the necessary steps to make it happen.
Right, right. And that took, meeting certain mentors and all sorts of stuff, that helped
Oh
along the
yeah.
way. I'm reminded of a conversation we had, not to keep pushing back on you, Felix, but
No, push. You can push.
but
I love it.
so we had a conversation, an
Uh-huh.
episode quite a while back, which was titled "Vision Boards Don't Work," and
Ah,
it was based on the scientist that I know here in Seattle, who basically studies. She basically looks at all the different brain studies that they're doing and breaks it down so the rest of us understand the science of what they're doing. And she has this section about how vision boards, which sometimes I feel is in the realm of how I think about what manifesting is. And the science at least says that the vision board doesn't work because your brain looks at all these pictures you cut out, all these sunsets or whatever you want to see, and it almost registers it, at least according to her book, as if you've already done it. It's looking at the end product. And so it doesn't have that
I
same,
like that.
yeah, it doesn't have
I,
the
I, I
same
do.
steps that the brain would
I don't.
normally do to try to figure out how to do it.
I don't know how she could measure that. I don't know how that's quantifiable,
Well,
but
she
I
didn't.
believe it.
She didn't. It has to do with like I don't know. They were looking at where different parts of
Yeah.
the brain lit up,
Yeah.
and where one part would be like the kind of goal accomplished part, versus the
Ah.
like the part of the brain that starts to figure out like what steps do I need to take to make this happen, like the more organizational
Can
planning
I
part of the brain,
can
basically.
I share with you my explanation to why that happens?
Yes, please.
So, in my experience, because that's all I can tell you
Sure.
from my own experience,
Yeah.
is that when we put up vision boards of things that we want, rather than putting them up and looking at them and feeling excited and feeling like, oh my God, I can't wait to do that. That's going to be so. Most people look at that and they say, I don't have that. I don't have it. It's over there. It's in a magazine. It's someone else's vision. It's not here. It's not mine. And so for that reason, they feel the absence of it. That is my explanation as to why I believe those things don't work and why they work for some people and why they don't work for most people. And that's because we look at it with a sense of longing, a sense of already knowing and feeling we don't have that. So, and that's why I said we're feelers. And the law of attraction, which is I'm a huge believer and proponent of, says that when you ask for something, the equivalent of an open hand to receiving it is feeling good about it, not pushing, trying, exhausting every avenue. Quite the opposite, actually. Releasing resistance and just staying open to how the universe wants to show you, or how God, whatever you want to call it, wants to show you that purpose for your wanting that is. So, yeah, I kind of agree with that, actually. That's why I don't have vision boards. I write down words, I write down sentences, I write down like inspirational quotes or things that get me to feel good. And that has been very helpful to me.
When you get invited to go to Paris Hilton's home,
Yes.
what did that satisfy within you as far as like beyond
It
a kind of vague longing of like, wouldn't that be cool? You know?
Sure. It actually made me feel a sense of not arriving because I felt that way before that. And it didn't take for me to read a celebrity to be validated, but it kind of just showed me that I asked for something and I got a taste of it, and it was a very positive experience for me. Whereas before, I was kind of intimidated by that world. I was kind of turned off by it, actually. And I realized it has nothing to do with it itself. It has to do with the energy of the people that I didn't feel or I was scared to be around, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so that I've discovered that I don't attract those people. I attract the people that are in vibrational alignment or have some sort of resonance with me. And so that's what I've discovered. And that's not just with that example. This goes for like everything in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I've really learned is that we are really powerful creators. I don't use the word manifestation a lot. People ask me about it. I share with them what spirit has taught me about what that is. And so it's not you get what you want and you just think it into existence. Because if that was the case, we'd have a very different world. It's about what we come here to do. And it's why you have these desires within you and why someone else doesn't have those same desires, because they have a different set of experiences that they want to have on the earth plane. And
Mm-hmm.
so we have these ideas and desires within us for a reason. When I was 7 years old, I'll never forget, I said to my parents, I want to be on TV when I'm older. And they were like, okay, you can do that. And I don't know why it fascinated me. Since I was 7, I always wanted to work in television. I wanted to go to New York. And being brought up in Ohio, my parents didn't understand this draw to New York City and why I had it. I didn't know either. Of course, my life would show me. But it's like I truly believe that if you listen to your natural tendencies and your desires, that'll lead you and guide you to where you're supposed to be.
Have you ever been led in the wrong direction?
Oh, a lot. But the wrong direction was an important direction for me to experience so that I could understand the contrast. And what isn't the best meal ever eaten while the most hungriest?
Right.
So, right? And so that taught me like, ooh, I really hated that. Oh, I don't want that to ever happen again. So it caused me to launch these rockets of desire of bigger, better. And so what that did for me was it told me, okay, I got a taste of that and I don't want to go back there again. I want to go over here or I want to try this. I tried this. Ooh, no, I didn't like that. Okay, so at least I tried it. Now I know I don't like that.
Hmm.
So that is why I believe wrong things happen to all of us.
For sure. Yeah. I was thinking when you were talking about the Paris Hilton thing, my background's working for NPR. And so I've met a ton of famous people in
Sure.
my career. Like that's just sort of part of
Yeah.
every day, right?
Yeah.
And what I learned very early on is that regardless of whether this person has a reputation or not, they are just another human being, you know? And so
Yes.
very quickly,
Absolutely.
they're not intimidating anymore because they're just another person, and you can like that person or you can not like that person, you know, or you can find
Yes.
them very deep or very shallow or whatever you discover when you meet that
Yes.
person in
Oh,
person. but
absolutely
but
now. Yeah, I
but
understand
yeah,
that now.
yeah, that's why like the patina of celebrity wears off so fast, I think, once you start being around
Well,
it.
I truly believe that people are drawn to celebrity because they have something to share or they have something to say and they have something to share with the world, a light to share. We all actually do. Not everybody wants to be famous, but there's interesting reasons why some people want that spotlight because they feel like they have something they're supposed to share with the world. And take it as it is, it has a purpose.
Hmm. Yeah.
I truly believe that.
What about this Jessica Alba story that you have?
Oh well, Jessica is a sweet, very sweet acquaintance of mine who has come into my life a couple years ago, and I read for her. I didn't know I was going to read for her, and she just popped up on my screen. And I actually didn't know a lot about her, which actually helped me to like read her because there's so much I didn't know. And I told her I know who you are, but I don't even like I couldn't tell her the movies I she was in. But it was like yeah, I made a wonderful connection with her, and she put me in touch with a lot of people, and it made you just realize that we're all here trying to do the same thing. We want love and we want to be loved.
Yeah.
We want to love and want to be loved. So yeah, that happened. So she's been a big supporter of my work and has shared my name with many people, and I'm so grateful to her.
All right, well, let's pause for a moment and take a quick break. Why do you think the term manifesting has become so popular? Is it just Oprah beginning it with The Secret back like a decade ago or more? What was that, 20 years ago now?
Yeah,
Where all of a sudden it became a phenomenon? Because I do feel
yeah,
like, you know, when it comes to things like this, it's often coming in these waves and trends where nobody's talking
right,
about manifesting and
right,
then all of a sudden everybody's manifesting everything, you know? So
right.
what do you make of it?
Well, I think that people have been turned on to this idea that we are powerful creators and that if you want something, you can make it happen. That's all I think manifestation is. And so we manifest our desires by telling people what we want or, telling the world or sharing stories. I believe that manifestation is the natural, innate mechanism that drives all of us,
Mm-hmm.
right? Why we manifested our soul. Our soul manifested the physical body into existence, if you want to go there. But like I know a lot of people have an annoyance with that word, and I can understand it because it's like a pop word,
Mm-hmm.
but it really does, I feel like, describe at best this idea of coming into something.
Rather than dreaming of something?
Right. Coming into it, stepping into it, becoming something, becoming it. Sure. I think actually manifestation is a very powerful concept. And of course, you can take that word, it can be a charged word for some people or for, certain people, but I really think it's just a word that depicts this happening, right? I
Mm-hmm.
feel like it's one of the best words that describes what we're doing,
Hmm.
if that makes sense.
it comes across as a very kind of like airy, loose word, you know?
Yeah. I
Because,
actually have never felt or thought of it in that way. So maybe your experience is just different than mine.
yeah, maybe so. Maybe so.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, it could have easily been described as chase your dreams, follow your dreams, you know, as the same kind of
Right.
concept.
And so dreams to me feels more even loftier, like, oh, that's just a dream. You just woke up. But
Mm-hmm.
dreaming, yeah, I get that. So yeah, it's so interesting. I stepped into or actually fell into this concept of the secret, actually. And believe it or not, before the secret, it was Esther Hicks teaching the laws of attraction.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I would listen to her, when I read the book, I recognized some key ideologies that I remember being shown or given to me as a child. And so that is what lit me up with the whole Esther Hicks teachings. So whether you believe her or not doesn't matter. But when she spoke on most topics, I recognized it. It would give me goosebumps.
Mm.
And I'm thinking, how do I know this? Like, how do I know this already? I truly believe that I was shown it before when I was a child. I remember some of the wording that and the phrases she uses. It just sparked a familiarity in me.
Do you remember any
And
of those things for people who have never heard of her before, just to see the difference?
oh well, she says things like, you are a vibrational being having a physical experience, and you are a spirit, and you are able to move about in this physical extension of who you really are, this source energy that has come to create and build and manifest. That is something she says, and that we are all vibrational beings having a vibrational experience. It resonated with me
Mm-hmm.
that we are creators, that we are the creators of our life. But I can even go further with that, with my experience. And well, then, because I said, well, then how do handicapped children come in? Do they, you know, someone will that? Or, all these children who come in, they die when they're 4. But I have come to realize that spirit, to take it further, I've been shown why people come in, and people come into this world not only for their spiritual growth, but for the spiritual growth of those around them as part of a contract, if you will. So, yeah, it's helped me to piece together some gaps and bridge some gaps that I had in the why and how of spirit.
So when you say we're all creators, what does
Hmm.
that mean to you, like specifically?
What does that mean to me? It means that I believe that we have all come to this earth plane to have this experience, and that our ability to create, our ability to draw in energies, to build something, to make something happen, to be a part of a specific, uh, to be a part of a specific career, community, part of the world, environment, what have you. I truly, really believe that we've all come here for a purpose, for a higher purpose. And of course, I think I actually mentioned it in your last podcast that I believe we all had a purpose here, and that we're not meant to know everything. We're meant to discover it. We're meant to sort of let it unfold, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why we're here. We're here to have this sheer experience of being physical. And it's not about getting all the answers. It's about living them out. It's sort of like we come here with a mission, but we also have come here for the experience of it. Right. It's like
Mm-hmm.
if I said to you, my goal is to go from San Francisco to Portland, from Portland to Michigan, then Michigan back to San Francisco. Well, I'm just going to end up in San Francisco, so I don't have to go. Well, that's like a nice goal, and that's true, but I'm going for the traveling experience, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm going for the experience of that. That's kind of how I feel about that.
Yeah, yeah. So much of the people who listen to the show, and people we've met along the way of this show being on for over a decade, is
Hmm.
a lot of people who are looking for what's next, or looking for, I mean, when we first started out, it was a lot of people who were asking the question, is it too late for me to do something different with my life? You know, it was that
Mm,
question was a very common one we heard in the early years. Not as much now. Maybe the pandemic changed everyone's thinking, in a different
mhm.
way. But like we used to hear that question all the time. Can I do it, whatever it is, and is it too late for me to do it?
It's never too late. I told a 50-year-old German pop star, or a German musician, that the next 20 years or 10, 15 years of her life would be television in her country. And she didn't really know what to make of it because she had never done like television. She's always been doing concerts and traveling the world. And so I said, I see you doing television. And then about 2 years later, she was a part of the German version of The Voice and one of the judges for
Hmm.
like, I think a couple of years. So yeah, it's never too late to do the things that you want to do. I truly believe that in my heart. It's never too late.
What about, is there a limit to what can be manifested? Like, let's say
Whatever limit you have.
I wanted to be, I mean, I don't, so I will never pursue this. But let's say, I mean, of course, you can never accomplish anything you don't really want to pursue. But let's say I wanted to be the president of the United
Right.
States, and I
So
had the passion to want to become the president. I mean, we all know that only so many people get to be the president. There is a limit, and we all have like inherent talents and skills and
right.
don't have other things. What does that mean for the idea
Well,
of
first of all, it
manifesting?
falls out of logic that, there's some you have to use some logic here. It's like, is this possible or what are the chances? So I even if a child says, I want to be a president, I would never discourage them or deter them. I'd say, then that's what your desire is right now. Wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Pursue it. Go for it. There are, I'm sure, a lot of people who never thought that a certain president would be a president, but he made it happen.
Mm-hmm.
So no, but there has to be a sense of there has to be a connection. In other words, you have to believe that it's possible. And so by you saying I want to be president, you don't really believe it's possible. You're saying it, but your actions aren't matching your feeling. And that's what I say is we are feelers. We are feeling based entities. And so everything is based on feeling, not thought. A lot of people think, oh, you think it into existence? Maybe, sure. That's like the top layer, but really it's feeling. And you deep down know that you're not going to be president, or you don't really want to be president, or it's kind of hard for you maybe at this time. But I truly believe you could be president.
Well, true. I mean, I guess my what I'm getting at is, like, yeah, you have to want to spend your time that way. Like,
Right.
that is one thing. Like, since I've been writing, I've had colleagues come to me and say, I've always thought I should write a book. What do you think? And I would say, well, I don't know. Do you want to spend all your time writing a book? If not, then no, you don't have to write a book.
Well, the
Um,
desire to say something, the desire to write about something that you feel is very important must be there in order for that book, in order for you to have the impetus to get that book finished.
True. But even that doesn't guarantee that anyone else will ever read it beyond like your friend
Right.
circle.
But you never asked for wanting to write a book so everyone could read it. You just said you wanted to write a book,
Right.
right?
Well, that's what my friend was asking me, yes.
Yeah. You have to be very specific. I tell people, do not ask spirit for a relationship. By God, don't ever do that because you will get it. Be specific with what you want. And my mentor taught me, Felix, the best way to ask spirit is, Spirit, I would love the experience of this. I would like to have the experience of XYZ. He says, and that way, if you decide you don't want it, you can change your mind. So I've always really liked that concept that if we ask for something we think or we thought we wanted and we got it and decided maybe it's not for us anymore, then we can release it and desire something else. And I think that's what people need to know is that everything is not written in stone.
That's true. And what about for you? Since we're getting toward the end of our time, you have a thing that you're personally trying to manifest at this
Oh,
very moment?
absolutely. I have a couple things. There's a house I would like to manifest, and I can buy a house if I want to, but I want it to be the perfect house. I want it to be in the perfect area, and I don't know where that is going to be, so therefore I'm not ready for it. That's my feeling. Like I want it, it's there somewhere, but I haven't figured out where I want it to be. I'm kind of just letting life show me, if you will, for now. but I still feel good about it. I feel like I'm going to have it and it's going to happen. That's one example. Yeah, there's a few goals that I still would like to experience before I leave this world.
Mm-hmm.
And something I don't think I mentioned, but 3 years ago, I almost died.
No.
And it really was prolific. It really changed my concept of time. And it kind of helped me to get back on track with things that I'd forgotten that I'd asked for or wanted. And I actually remembered, okay, this is what I want to do. And it really brought me back to life, literally, in ways of being driven again and motivated. Whereas being almost having lost my mom a few times, and then, the pandemic and, all these things that are happening around us. So it really helped me to focus on, okay, time to remember what it is I came here to do, because dying does not feel right now.
Did you feel like with the pandemic and all that, you sort of lost your way?
Oh yeah. I think like a lot of other people, I questioned like my own purpose and okay, it's nice. I can talk to spirits and they're helping people. Great. But what about me?
Yeah.
And, and spirits, exactly. We're trying to get you to pay more attention to yourself. You're forgetting about your body, Felix. You have allowed this work to take over your sense of well-being. And so we have to remind you, time to do a little checkup and reassessment. So, like with everyone in life, I am not exempt from the rules of the physical world.
Right. And you don't have all the answers.
I don't have all the answers. Absolutely. And one thing people ask me a lot is, Felix, do you ever go to psychics or you get readings or can you read yourself? And I say, no, I'm not interested in it. I like to live in spontaneity.
Mm-hmm.
I really, truly feel like I want to live day to day and be surprised. And I don't want to know. Actually, a week before I got COVID, I was in Arizona. I was actually in Sedona on a retreat, and all these medicine workers were working with me, massage therapists and Reiki, and
Mm-hmm.
it was wonderful and beautiful. And nobody said anything to me about, oh, next week your mom's going to almost die. You're going to be forced to fly home first class the same day she calls you. No one ever said that, and I'm glad no one ever said that to me
Mm-hmm.
because I would not have wanted to know that
Why not?
because I would have been panicking. I would have had anxiety before it happened. And so that's why spirit doesn't say things like that to people.
Mm-hmm.
Any psychic who says things that are gloom and doom or negative, it's not ethical.
Mm.
Just because they see it doesn't mean they have to scare people or share that, and I'm not saying I get that kind of information because I don't, but I do know of psychics that have said to my clients some things that have really hurt them. And so I feel like it's irresponsible. And I always say that this ability that I have doesn't come with an ethical compass. So I tell people just be mindful of who you go to and make sure they're vetted.
So you wouldn't want to know the future. I know that a bunch of people would want me to ask, even though we've already
Yeah.
talked about how you don't predict the future necessarily.
Well, I don't, but I do.
You don't, but you do. I mean, the big question everyone wants to ask is about politics here in the United States and what's going to happen.
Right. Well, let me say
Worldwide.
this.
Worldwide.
Uh, my answers to both results were the opposite of what happened, but it's not because I was wrong.
Well, what does that
And
mean?
it's not because a lot of psychics were wrong.
Yeah.
I kind of don't want to like venture into politics, but
Yeah. We don't have to.
um, yeah, yeah, it's a man-made concept and has nothing to do with the spirit world, actually. I tell people this is all created by man. And like God spirit doesn't have, oh, we're lefters or we're right. It's not that. There's none of that.
Yeah.
That's all divisive. And actually politics is the opposite of what I do. Of course I have my personal opinions on that, but my job is to bring the spirit through. And they come through with non-judgmental love and guidance.
Mm-hmm.
And whereas I can say I want nothing to do with this or that, I really do believe that my connection to spirit is to help whoever seeks my counsel.
Yeah. Well, How should people reach out to you if they want to get in touch? I should ask you
Sure.
that.
I have an amazing assistant named Jeffrey. He is my absolute rock. He's amazing at his job helping me. And you can call my office at 415-563-8677. And also my website, felixleelerma.com. Or you can just go to Google, type in Felix Psychic, Felix Medium. My links will come up. I
Mm-hmm.
do have some podcasts myself on YouTube, and
Yeah.
I'm going to be doing more of those. So
Okay.
I'm excited.
Yeah, that is exciting. I will put some links in the show notes as well. All right. Is there any
Thank you.
final thought you'd want to leave people with? I know I've been pushing back on you with your concepts.
Oh, no, I love that. I really, enjoy talking about these things because I truly believe that whether you believe in something or not doesn't matter. It's the fact that we're talking about it, I believe, is the healing part. If you can talk about philosophies, the pure fact that we're talking about it is what's generating, I believe, the healing energy. Now, whether you believe it or not doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So I think I'd like to leave the audience with we are loved, and that the spirit loves no one more than you, and that we are all here to do different things and to just be the true full you that you can be.
All right. Well, we'll leave it there with that beautiful thought. Thank you so much for coming on. So much fun to see
Thank
you
you
again.
so much, Katy, for having me. It was a pleasure.
Yeah. All right. And until next time, this is The Bittersweet Life. I'm Katy Sewell. We'll talk to you next week. Bye.
Tiffany here, just popping in. If you are dreaming of coming to Italy, and specifically to coming to Rome, you're probably thinking to yourself, I don't really want to be in those huge groups of tourist hordes trudging through the Vatican museums, sweltering under the sun inside the Colosseum, wandering around the busy tourist streets, seduced into a tourist trap restaurant just because you don't know where else to go and you're tired and you're hot, looking at amazing things, but not really knowing what you're seeing. What's the point of going all the way to Rome and not really seeing it, not seeing the true city, not experiencing what Rome has to offer and really getting to know the city? Because if you don't know Rome very well, or maybe you've been to Rome and you were a little bit overwhelmed by it, couldn't really take it all in, or maybe you've never been there and you don't really know what all the fuss is about, it can be easy to be overwhelmed by a city like Rome. But if you come with Katy and me, we can guarantee you that you will get to know this city on a much deeper level. And when you do that, no matter where you're traveling, it makes that time so much more valuable and so much more worthwhile. And I don't know about you, but when I go deep into a place, that place stays with me. So I wanted to share just a little bit with you about what we're going to be doing. We're not going to be going to the Vatican. We're not going to be going to the Colosseum or the Forum. Although if you want to go to those places, we will absolutely make that happen for you. And we can set up tours for you. Or if you don't want to go on a tour, you want to go by yourself, we can help you get the tickets. We are happy to do that, but we won't be going there together. We are going to be discovering the lesser known side of Rome. Now, the thing about Rome, what makes Rome so unique as a city, is that some of the churches in this city, some of the small museums and piazzas, if they were in any other city in the world, they would be absolutely the top attractions. But because Rome has so much, Rome has an embarrassment of riches, that even the second, third, fourth tier sites, even those places that hardly anybody goes to, are so incredible. Anywhere else in the world, they would be your number one site. So those are the kind of places we're going to be going. We're going to be seeing medieval frescoes. We're going to be seeing mosaics. We're going to be seeing incredible works of Baroque architecture, paintings by Caravaggio, by Filippino Lippi, by Raphael, churches that are incredibly beautiful, but just far enough off the tourist track that nobody goes there, and we'll be there alone and we'll experience these sites in a completely different way than you experience a very, very crowded, busy city. There are some piazzas and streets and narrow alleyways in Rome that even in the height of high season, when you walk down them, you feel like you're in a small medieval city. I know where to go. I know where to take you. I have the greatest, amazing secret places that I have been collecting and cataloging and, quite frankly, in a lot of situations, sort of keeping to myself because I don't want them to be ruined. But I do want to share them with you. If you're interested in coming to Rome, if that's something that you've been dreaming of doing for a while, consider coming with Katy and myself because we are going to spend 6 nights, 5 days exploring the unknown, the secret side of Rome. I'm going to be telling the city's stories and really sharing with you what makes this city so unique and really what makes it the way that it is, why Rome is what it is. So if you're interested, you can just get in touch with us by email if you'd like more information. Email us at bittersweetlifepodcast@gmail.com. That's bittersweetlifepodcast@gmail.com. We have sold out about half of the rooms, and it's a very small trip, so we don't have a lot of rooms available, but we do have a few left. Please get in touch if you feel like you might be interested in joining us for that magical, unforgettable week.